Speaking of limiting your exposure to danger, Vince Russo shit the bed again. And I don't, because he's like Trump, and this will be more apropos when I tell you what's going on, but he ought to, you don't have to knock him anymore, because every time he opens his mouth, right, he does it himself. He stooges himself off, gets himself fired, and gets his companies, canceled from TV networks. He stooges himself off every time he does something stupid. When his fucking internet partner left him and he had to tell people not to buy his own merchandise. That still remains one of my favorite moments in the history of the wrestling business. Don't buy my shit. When he split with the guy that did his website because he fucked him around and the guy locked him out of his own website. He's, don't buy my merchandise. That's the first time I've ever agreed with him on anything. But he did it again this past week. And one of the Cult Cornette members sent me a link, and as bad as I hated to do it, I had to listen to that because I listened. I want to make sure I didn't get anything wrong. But for about 5 minutes, I was wanting to slit my own fucking throat, but I was listening to that voice. But basically, I'm just going to read a couple of the quotes. I'm not going to go into the fucking depth and breadth of it, but Vince Russo in the past week said that he was glad that Trump won the election, and he was glad Hillary didn't win because, and I quote, God didn't make women to lead our country.
What?
He did a whole fucking routine on God, women's places, because the religious people are like, the Amish. He should have moved to fucking Lancaster, Pennsylvania. The religious people are like, no, it's a man's job to lead and the woman is to, how do they say, to cleave unto or to be subservient to, or however they fucking put it back in those days when people didn't know where the sun went at night and they wrote the book that a lot of people still fucking live their lives by. No, women are not supposed to lead the, maybe not Hillary, maybe she wasn't your cup of tea, but to make that blanket statement about what about Golda Meir or goddamn Margaret Thatcher or any other great female leader, whatever the fuck. The point is this, he said this. I'm not lying to you. He excused Donald Trump's promos in the campaign where he said all that horrible shit about everybody and then said all that bullshit that he didn't mean. But of course, he's an entertainer. That's why he said a lot of those things, but you can already see in the past couple of weeks he's been serious. And this is another quote. Donald Trump, and we're going to talk about some of these later on in the program from our cult emails, but Donald Trump will, quote, surround himself with the greatest minds available, unquote. He doesn't like Bill Maher. See, here's the thing about me and Vince Russo, and so many people, and I'm not even cutting a promo on him now. It's passed into funny. It's passed into funny. I don't even know that I hate him anymore. I will tomorrow, but it's passed into funny now as I think about this, because often Stacey has said before, if it was a rib, if somebody was just sitting down with a piece of paper and saying, okay, let's create a human being that Jim Cornette could not like on any level, could never agree with, the antithesis of this one human being on this planet. Let's make some guy just completely opposite, as close as we can get. He doesn't like Bill Maher. Because he said Bill Maher, see, he cut promos on how stupid the Trump supporters were, and they showed him. Yeah, that's what happened. But it's not an indictment of Bill Maher. It's an indictment of stupid people. When people call when you call a stupid person stupid, and most stupid people, really deep down, they know that they're stupid. It's like Dennis Condrey used to say, it struck a nerve. Of course, the stupid people didn't like being called stupid and backlash. We just thought there were more smart people than stupid people. And actually there were, as we said, she won the popular vote, but a lot of the smart people didn't come out. But he said that Trump came across as a regular guy, not a pompous asshole. This was a quote from Vince Russo. And that the so-called stupid people that folks like Bill Maher called stupid showed him who was, yeah, they did. They showed him exactly who was fucking stupid. And also, he said that Ann Coulter, who he called Ann Coulter a hot blonde. That fucking greyhound-faced, long-legged fucking stick woman with that sour look on her bitchy, cunty face. He called Ann Coulter a hot blonde and said she was smarter than Bill Maher. Actually, she may be, because she's working a gimmick, because that's her gimmick. Nobody can say blatantly obnoxious, mischaracteristic, exaggerated, or inflammatory things like that with a straight face on purpose, especially things that she can't believe as a somewhat intelligent person, at least as far as being articulate and knowing the meaning of words and things, as a Trump supporter would say. Ann Coulter's got to be a gimmick, but oh boy. So that's Vince Russo's latest contribution to the intellectual thought of America.